This man is about to die. To protect his father, he was forced to betray Lalo, opening the door for the assassins. Then Nacho fled desperately, hearing gunshots not far away. He thought Lalo had died. Little did he know, Lalo single-handedly wiped out the entire assassination team. To stay alive, Nacho kept running desperately until dawn. Seeing someone approaching in the distance, Nacho hurriedly hid. This was Salamanca territory, and being seen by anyone would be extremely dangerous. Just when Nacho was relieved that he hadn't been discovered, his phone suddenly rang. Luckily, it was on vibrate, but one guy seemed to notice something. Nacho quickly took out his phone and hung up. After the group left, Nacho received the call again. The call was from Gus's men, aiming to get Nacho out of the country. Nacho asked if Lalo was dead. The other side confirmed he was dead. Nacho then inquired about the innocent people. The caller said they didn't know and told Nacho to continue north. He was arranging a hiding place for Nacho and would contact him in an hour. Nacho guessed that those innocent people had probably been killed too, but he could do nothing about it. Filled with guilt, he continued his desperate escape. Meanwhile, the surviving Lalo arrived at a farmer's house. The hostess, Sylvia, treated Lalo like a benefactor. From their conversation, it was revealed that Lalo had supported them and even helped the host, Mateo, see a dentist. However, they didn't know that Lalo never did anything without a reason. Lalo joked that Mateo's scruffy beard didn't look good, so Sylvia told Mateo to shave it off quickly. Taking advantage of Sylvia's distraction, Lalo picked up the scissors on the table. Although there was no direct scene of Lalo killing, his intention was clear. Lalo then went to the bathroom. When Mateo finished shaving and looked up, he realized they looked exactly alike. Clearly, this man was Lalo's stand-in. Lalo had arranged for Mateo to see a dentist so that others would think Mateo was Lalo. A few hours later, the Salamanca family's courtyard was filled with corpses, and the police were investigating the crime scene. The cousins, upon hearing about the family tragedy, arrived immediately. Seeing the charred body of their brother, Lalo, Marco took off his suit and covered him, placing the family's death god card on top. The two showed angry eyes, determined to avenge their dead family. However, they didn't know that the charred body was Lalo's double. Soon, Gus received a call from his superior, Juan, who informed him about the attack on the Salamancas. Gus feigned ignorance and even expressed curiosity about who could be behind such a brutal move. Juan wasn't sure who sent the attackers, but they had already confirmed that Nacho was the mole. A bounty has now been placed on the fugitive Nacho. Once Nacho is found, the mastermind behind him will also be interrogated. Juan cautioned Gus to be careful in business, worried that their operations might be affected. After hanging up, Gus questioned Tyrus about the mercenaries being wiped out and whether the mission to assassinate Lalo could still be completed. Tyrus didn't answer. Mike noted that such things had happened before. Mike volunteered to bring Nacho back safely, but Gus remained silent. Mike suspected that Gus had some unspeakable secrets. Seeing that the next topic involved critical issues, Tyrus tactfully stepped aside. Once Tyrus had retreated, Gus asked Mike to share his thoughts. Mike said that Nacho had fought a tough battle for him and seemed to respect him. Gus was well aware of Mike's intentions, which were to get Nacho out of danger as soon as possible. That night, Nacho followed Gus's instructions and arrived at a motel. In the prepared room, there was an envelope on the bed containing some cash and a gun. Nacho then contacted Gus's men. The other party said that someone would come to meet him in a few days, and Nacho was told to hide here for a few days, not to be discovered, and if anyone came in, he should shoot to defend himself. The next day, an incognito Lalo prepared to smuggle himself across the border to seek revenge on Gus. After paying a $2,000 fare, he was signaled to get in the car. At that moment, Lalo suddenly thought of Hector in the nursing home, so he asked the driver when they would depart. Then Lalo called Hector. Hector, who had just learned about the destruction of their base, was immersed in deep pain and sorrow. Hearing Lalo's voice, his expression immediately brightened. Lalo told his uncle about his plan to seek revenge on Gus. However, Hector rang his bell frantically in protest, seemingly wanting to tell Lalo something. So, Lalo patiently had Hector spell it out letter by letter. Eventually, Hector conveyed that Lalo should find evidence. Lalo said he had no evidence. Previously, he had followed Gus's men in the north for several months without noticing anything unusual. At that moment, he suddenly remembered the German engineer Werner's team, so Lalo decided to use this as a breakthrough to find evidence in Germany. Lalo told the driver that he had changed his itinerary and asked for a refund of his fare, but his attitude was as tough as ever.
There's no refunds, asshole.
I told you. Be nice.
However, they didn't realize they had provoked the wrong person. After a few gunshots outside the car, Lalo opened the hidden door of the truck. He told the stowaways they would change vehicles and refunded their fares. Although Lalo had just shown his ruthless side, he quickly displayed a gentlemanly demeanor, making the audience both love and hate him. So, the question is, do you like Lalo or hate him?
Lalo Salamanca lives.
Will Gus always stay one step ahead, or will the ruthless killer Lalo outmaneuver him? After watching this episode, you'll be captivated by their intense showdown, with Gus's hired assassination team completely wiped out, and Tyrus receiving information that the mercenaries completed the mission. Gus couldn't help but feel something was amiss. To prove to Gus that Lalo was indeed dead, Tyrus even obtained photos from the crime scene. Although Lalo's body was burned beyond recognition, the dental records in the autopsy report confirmed Lalo's identity. Faced with such strong evidence, the cautious Gus still had his doubts. He asked Tyrus how the fire started, and Tyrus said the report said it was caused by a cooker. They speculated that someone must have been cooking at the time. However, they didn't know that all of this was part of Lalo's plan to fake his death, aiming to make Gus drop his guard so he could deliver a fatal blow later. But Lalo underestimated Gus's capabilities. To confirm whether Lalo was truly dead, Gus thought of a plan. He called his superior, Juan, and said he had a way to maintain peace between them and the Salamancas. They then went to the nursing home where Hector stayed. Juan urged Hector to accept Gus's condolences. Although Hector knew that Gus was the mastermind behind the attack, he held back and listened to what they had to say, because before this, Lalo had secretly contacted Hector, telling him that he was hiding and seeking evidence for revenge. Juan said they were helping to find the traitor, Nacho. During this time, Gus watched Hector's every move, not missing even the subtlest expression. After listening to their chatter, the physically immobile Hector slowly extended his hand to express his gratitude. However, as the two shook hands and pretended to reconcile, Gus noticed Hector's expression suddenly relax. Hector seemed to have a look of confidence. After Juan left, Gus immediately called Mike.
Lalo Salamanca lives.
Meanwhile, Juan, who had just left, went straight to Nacho's house to look for clues. He found Nacho's fake IDs in the safe, prepared for his escape, and discovered several overseas remittances and a mysterious phone number. Juan tried to call the number.
Motel Cotillo, ¿cómo le puedo ayudar?
Disculpe, número equivocado.
However, he didn't know that all of this was a trap set by Gus in advance. Just before they went to see Hector, Gus had arranged for Mike and his men to go to Nacho's house. They escorted Nacho's girlfriend away, telling her never to return. Then Mike had his men open Nacho's safe and take everything inside. Mike saw the documents Nacho had prepared for his father and himself. Mike puts Nacho's father's papers in his own pocket in order to keep Nacho's father out of trouble, which is what Nacho has always wanted to do. Soon, they purchased an identical safe and put everything back inside, including Nacho's fake IDs, which Juan later found. Then Mike took an envelope out of his coat. Inside were the bank transfer receipts and phone number that Gus had prepared for Juan. The motel where Gus arranged for Nacho to hide was the one Juan called earlier. Gus leaked Nacho's hideout to Juan because he knew Juan would send people to kill Nacho. Once Nacho was dead, the only person who could implicate him would be gone. This plan to kill with a borrowed knife was quite clever. To monitor Nacho, Gus arranged for someone to hide in a small shed at the motel. If Nacho left the motel, Gus's plan would have to be adjusted. However, Gus didn't anticipate that the clever Nacho would discover he was being watched. He quietly slipped out the back window. To find out who was behind this, Nacho ambushed the watcher, who revealed his simple task of reporting if Nacho left. Hearing this, Nacho suspected Gus and called Gus's man, saying he felt uneasy and wanted to leave the motel. Before the other party could persuade him, Nacho hung up the phone. Immediately, the watcher's phone rang. This confirmed Nacho's suspicions.
No puedes disparar, amigo. Hasta en este pueblo de mierda, alguien oyó un balazo y ya valió.
Nacho decided to leave the dangerous place quickly. He picked up an iron rod from the ground and found a pickup truck. Finding no keys in the truck, Nacho tried to start it by force. At that moment, a black SUV suddenly stopped at the entrance, and several armed men rushed into the yard. They were assassins sent by Juan. Nacho lay in the truck, barely daring to breathe, and used the rearview mirror to observe the situation outside. Unexpectedly, the cousins also arrived, but luckily they didn't notice Nacho in the pickup. Seizing the opportunity, Nacho hurriedly tried to start the truck. Just before he could get it going, the assassins spotted him. A fierce gunfight ensued, drawing more of their accomplices. Soon, Nacho ran out of bullets, while the assassins kept firing. Just as Nacho was about to be killed, one assassin was shot and fell.
Vivo.
It turned out the cousins wanted to capture Nacho alive to find out who was behind this. In a critical moment, Nacho finally started the pickup and quickly reversed towards the cousins. This scene was reminiscent of Hank's counterattack on the cousins in Breaking Bad. Nacho was trapped in front of the yard, and to escape, he had to fight his way out.